Good morning and welcome to the new work week. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your weather hazard briefing for Monday, October 2nd. So actually quite a bit to talk about this morning, but when we break it down, we can kind of organize it into two bins here, two different weather patterns that are going to affect our area here over the next 5 or 6 days or so. We kick things off cool and wet. That low pressure system that's been supporting this wetter, cooler pattern that we've been in here for a day or two, that's going to continue to support some showers and cooler temperatures both today and Tuesday before that system finally exits off to the east and moves into the plains. So in addition to the cooler temperatures and some continued shower activity, which we'll walk through here in just a moment, a couple other things we're watching out of this. Some patchy dense fog is ongoing this morning in a few spots here in our forecast area. I'll show you that. And we're also expecting generally breezy conditions out of the west-southwest as we get into this afternoon and about the first half of tonight as well. So just be mindful that'll be out there too, particularly from the eastern Magic Valley up the Snake Plain corridor. Now, as we kick things ahead just a little bit here, warm and dry. We switch things up, new weather pattern. The low pressure system is gone and we have high pressure building in starting on Wednesday, but continuing through the end of the week. That's going to bring drier conditions and gradually warming temperatures. So if you are not a fan of this taste of fall plus some rainfall, we're going to be switching that up here in just a couple days. And with that, even though we're moving the storm system out, we're going to get rid of cloud cover, and that is going to create conditions favorable for some very cool mornings and some frost potential on at least Wednesday and Thursday mornings, but potentially Friday morning as well, even with those afternoon temperatures gradually warming with time. Breaking all that down here in the weather risk outlook, I actually have a little bit of orange shading on the map today, a little bit more of a moderate risk, and that's due to that patchy dense fog that we're seeing early this morning, continuing through mid to late morning in portions of the Snake Plain, the Magic Valley, and the South Hills. These are the same areas where we'll see breezy conditions this afternoon. And other than that, here Monday and Tuesday, today and tomorrow, showers continuing with that low pressure system in the area. And again, I'll walk you through some of the general trends that we're seeing in that here in just a moment. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, high pressure, dry conditions, warming temperatures, but cool mornings. And that'll set up some potential frost here in our agricultural corridor up the Snake Plain and the eastern Magic Valley as well. So stay tuned in the days ahead as we'll be watching that. That'll really be your main hazard on the weather front here as we get into the middle and latter part of the week. Satellite loop this morning, you can see some higher level cloud cover. This is this white activity here that's streaming northward out of Utah. If you can see my cursor up into eastern portions of Idaho. This is also associated with our next round of showers that are going to be moving into the area here today. A little bit further west of that, though, you can see this blue shading as well. This blue is indicative of very low cloud cover. Just a couple 100 feet off the ground, we have some low stratus clouds going on. That's been an impact for aviation this morning, but this is also showing some fog in there as well. Again, not all of this is fog, but certainly some spots here where you see the blue are seeing some locally dense fog here this morning. No watches, warnings, or advisories in effect across the region, so that's good. And even, again, we've been saying this for a couple days now as the storm has kind of kicked off. Generally not expecting a big severe weather threat or flood threat from this. This is going to be more of a beneficial rainfall, nuisance rainfall for those of you who are traveling or trying to do things outdoors. And we'll continue to see that particularly in the eastern half of the forecast area here over the next couple days, but nothing terribly hazardous out of that that we're envisioning right now. Also, talking about watches, warnings, and advisories, this red outlined area here is where we're worried about fog, and we have issued a statement, a special weather statement this morning outlining what we're concerned about. The areas at risk here are the eastern Magic Valley down to Oakley, also down into the Raft River region and the valleys in that area, and then up into the lower Snake Plain. And actually out at the INL Puzzle here, we're seeing some fog this morning as well. But this general area where you see these red lines is where we have the most favorable conditions for those patchy instances of dense fog this morning. Visibility ranging from about 1 mile in some cases to as low as 1/10 of a mile in a few of these pockets of fog. So if you are out there traveling, please keep an eye out for sudden drops in visibility. This is not widespread. This is in little pockets in these areas, but you certainly could come across those, including on the interstates here during your commute this morning. Webcams tell the story. These are some images over the last couple hours here. This is I-84 near the Yale Road exit. and you can see very dense fog there. That's actually a headlight from a vehicle that we're seeing there in the webcam. Raft River on I-86. You can see the roadway here, but dense fog was in place. And the Blackfoot Rest area up on I-15 to the north of Blackfoot has had some fog drift in and out of that area as well. So a quick review on dense fog safety this morning. Remember, sudden drops in visibility are possible. If you can, turn on low beam headlights. Be sure to reduce your speed, slow down, use caution if you encounter fog. Use those painted lines on the roadway to help guide you. And these are some of the biggest things you can do to reduce your risk of collisions in these pockets of fog this morning. Low temperatures as you head out, a little on the cool side, even compared to the last couple days. You can see lots of 30s, some low 40s out there this morning. So be prepared for that. We're headed toward high temperatures today, very similar to yesterday. You can see 50s on the map here for almost all of our population centers. Hey, Chalice, you might get to 60. 61 is actually our official forecast there, but 55 in Island Park, 53, very similar in Pocatello, 58 out in the usually warmer Eastern Magic Valley and the Twin Falls area. So again, we're really under the influence of that low pressure with those cooler temperatures remaining in place along with showers, which we'll talk about right now. Severe weather outlook for today, not expecting any organized severe weather. You can see from the green shading, there may be a couple thunderstorms embedded in this activity today. So let's walk through some of the general trends here. And as I always caution, we look at a lot of different computer models, and all of these models do their best to try to tell us what the radar might look like as we go forward here, but they're predicting the future. They're not all perfect. They don't always all agree. So this is one model's idea of what the radar may look like. Focus on general trends, not necessarily exactly who's being hit by a shower at what time here, but there's some value we can glean here. So as we kick off at 6 a.m. this morning, fairly quiet across most of the forecast area with, you can see down here in the south, there is some precipitation and shower activity trying to creep north out of Utah. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can see that activity expanding northward, really lighting up this corridor between about I-15 and the Wyoming border. West of I-15, there's a chance for a couple showers running around today, but I think many of you will lean dry, at least more dry than wet. But from I-15 to the Wyoming border, this is going to be a corridor of on and off, more organized shower activity today. Whether or not some of the more persistent rainfall sets up along I-15, so Pocatello, Blackfoot, Idaho Falls, and northward, even down to Malad, you're going to be right on potentially the western edge of this, so a little uncertainty there, but certainly east of there, be prepared for a wet day today. 10 a.m., 11 a.m., same trend, same corridor, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We kind of see almost a little lull there just real briefly, but you can see a renewed push of precipitation coming in from the south. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, again, this corridor in the east between about I-15 and the Wyoming border, leaning the wettest, few isolated showers elsewhere. 6 o'clock, heading into the evening here, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. We start to work some of this first region of precipitation off into Wyoming. You certainly can see lots of colors coming in here from the west. This is a little overdone. I don't think this is actually going to be any area of widespread rainfall this early. I think there's going to be a general lull even into the central mountains as we go into the evening. But again, trending here, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. You can see that trend to overspread our forecast area from northwest to southeast with renewed shower activity as early as midnight or shortly after midnight. So we go into the early morning for Tuesday, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., widespread hit and miss showers, mostly fairly light, but quite a few of them out there. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. as you're getting up Tuesday morning and heading out, shower activity continues. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Again, widespread showers, but starting to see more organized rainfall across the southern and eastern highlands here, maybe impinging on portions of the Snake Plain. 10, 11, noon, 1. We tend to shut down some of that shower activity across the region, but still continue to organize showers, more widespread activity down across the southern and eastern highlands, continuing into the early afternoon. By 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, we continue to shrink the precipitation generally off to the southeast, but here we go. We have additional showers and maybe a couple thunderstorms here, redeveloping from the Snake Plain, portions of the Central Mountains up into Island Park, over toward Driggs. So again, we can't call all clear yet. 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8. By the time we get to about 8 p.m., 9 p.m., did I go to 10? I did go to 10. So 10 p.m. tomorrow evening, few lingering showers across the south and east, but you can certainly see a diminishing trend as we finally kick this low pressure system off to the east and we head toward that drier weather that's going to start us off for Wednesday. High temperatures on Tuesday. Again, another day of highs in the 50s, maybe a couple 60s here into Jerome and Shoshone, Chalice, close, very close, Salmon as well, but still generally cool under the influence of that low pressure. Here's low temperatures Wednesday morning on the left, high temperatures Wednesday afternoon on the right. So here is our first day of high pressure building in, dry conditions. We're starting to clear the clouds out, no more shower activity, but we're going to have some very cool mornings, and you can see those temperatures are forecast to be about 32 to maybe 35 here, particularly from Craters of the Moon in the Arco Desert up through Mud Lake, up to Du Bois, maybe a touch warmer in the eastern Magic Valley, but certainly a frost concern for portions of this agricultural corridor. High temperatures over here on the right, we start to gain a few degrees. We get into the upper 50s for most locations across southeast Idaho, a couple low 60s creeping into the normally warmer eastern Magic Valley and Raft River region. Chalice, Stanley as well, picking up on slightly warmer temperatures Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to do it all again, but just a little warmer. So cool morning. You can see, again, very close to freezing, particularly from the central Snake Plain to the northeast, including places like Craters, Arco, over the INL, Mud Lake, Du Bois, a little bit warmer in the eastern Magic Valley. And certainly don't want to leave you out in the mountains. Certainly cold conditions and frost concerns across our mountain valleys as well. But that's typical for this time of year. Those aren't areas where we really focus in on potential frost advisories or freeze warnings. Over here on the right, high temperatures inching up a little bit more. Look at all the 60s that are starting to come back into the picture on Thursday. So we trade some 50s for some 60s. It's going to feel beautiful. There's going to be quite a bit of sunshine running around. It's going to be a beautiful end to the week here across our southeast Idaho forecast area. So a lot packed in there. Again, watch out for some patchy, dense fog this morning. Be prepared for that if you're traveling or commuting. 2 more days of cool and wet conditions before Wednesday onward we break out and get into a high pressure, warmer, drier scenario here to round out the week. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. Questions, comments, concerns? Of course, we're here 24/7 out here at the Pocatello Weather Service office. Information is at the bottom of this slide to reach out. Everyone have a safe and enjoyable Monday.